Welcome everyone to That Kind of Nerds Podcast, a weekly show where we tell you what's going on in the nerdy world. I'm CJ Millen, joined of course by Josh Burns and Brian Thornton.
Indeed.
Indubitably. Listen, there's a lot of That Kind of Nerd content coming out this week. We are obviously covering Game of Thrones, but we also just launched our new podcast, The Bingeaholics, which will be made available on Wednesday. We are discussing The Defenders on Netflix right now, so be sure to check out that show. If you're already subscribed to Hey Did You See, congratulations, we've already subscribed you to The Bingeaholics. We're crafty like that, so you're welcome. You don't have to press a button. It's happening.
We can't live without Binge-a-Hall.
Very true. I bought a bunch of Binge-a-Hall. So listen, I'm going to start off with the top story that's been dominating the nerdy world this week, and that is MoviePass. If you haven't heard about this, this launched actually about a year and a half ago. It was a $50, essentially all-you-can-watch movie app that let you go to the movie theaters and see one movie a day, $50 a month, and that was all you paid. So even if your movie tickets cost more than $50, doesn't matter. They just went crazy this week, making huge waves by lowering their price to $10. So
a couple lawsuits, if I read correctly.
Well, there's a lot of controversy, which I definitely want to get into. But really, here's how it works: you download this application. You have to be close to the movie theater. You say, "I would like to see this movie at this time." You go ahead and you purchase the ticket. The movie theater will the application credits the movie theater for the entire ticket price. So if it's $15, you only paid $10, but they are paying the movie theater the $15. There's a lot of controversy because there's two things about this. Number one, this is basically unsustainable. Like, no one knows how long this is going to last. So this is something
it's all Bitcoin.
Right. The second thing is the theater chain AMC is suing this company to stop them from doing this, which is odd. So, Brian, you read a little bit about this. What are your thoughts?
Very little bit.
All right. Well, then I did more than everybody did. What are your thoughts about this actual service itself?
As a frequent moviegoer, I actually achieved my normal goal of seeing one movie a week for the past month and a half. The idea excites me, but I don't understand how it would benefit the very huge decline of the movie theater business that has suffered billions of dollars this year.
Yeah, this has been the worst season.
Studios.
Well, I guess where I'm at, though, is if you're such an avid moviegoer,
This has got me written all over it.
well, why aren't you doing it? Is my question.
So there's a couple things.
Because it was $50, and I was very lucky
10.
this month.
CJ just said it was 10.
It's $10
now. It's 10.
Yeah,
It's now 10.
So that what Josh is saying is, why don't you have it at the $10? Why haven't you just done it?
This is where I insert the gif of Forrest Gump saying, "I am not a smart man."
So here's the catch, Josh, and here's why I haven't signed up yet. And that is, I need to see what AMC does, because if AMC doesn't accept this program, it's kind of useless for my movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I have a Regal right by my house,
which
and I have an AMC
not
that I go to all the time. Yeah, that's the thing. Regal doesn't participate, and
Does Carmike?
it looks like Carmike doesn't exist anymore. AMC just bought them. So if AMC doesn't do it, then there's definitely no point in me doing it. I would never be able to use it.
So, and the other part of it is this, right? And of course, I'm the one who investigates this. The reason why it went down to $10 was a data mining company purchased a huge stake within this company and gave it a lot of money. So they were able to lower the price, and they're going to be selling your data out the wazoo to studios, to movie theaters, to anyone who wants it, essentially.
Don't I technically already do that every time I go to the theater?
You do, absolutely.
What are they selling? What movies I like? I already did that by purchasing the ticket.
Now
They're selling what you do when no one's looking.
And we're going deeper into who you are, Brian. We're going to know, your address. We're going to know your likes and dislikes. We're going to know your Facebook feed.
Listen.
Is that also
theaters.
They can grizzle box things to my house? Because if they're looking to grizzle box things to me, then that's what I want.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling movie theaters right now, if all I need to do to get awesome movies at my home is give you my address, sign me the fuck up. Please.
Here's the thing, Josh, you ask me a lot, right? When I bring up this data privacy and my information, hey, listen, is it is it worth it to you? Like, is the service
they're not
offering?
going to be putting pictures of your kids on the slideshow before the movie.
For me, I'm such an avid moviegoer that this is totally, listen, take the data, sell it. I really don't care. I really go to the movies a lot.
This
and
is the case that you're okay with them reading your text messages.
Yeah, because this is me getting something huge back.
Are you kidding me? Like, this is a situation in which you're okay with selling your privacy.
Go for it. To get me into the movies.
CJ.
To get me into the movies for $10 a month, I am fine with being called a hypocrite at this point.
This is not something I've ever said to anyone in my entire life, and I'm going to say it to you.
And it's recorded.
Stop being such a whore.
So listen, it's very interesting. I think people should know what they're getting into, right? If you are signing up for this, just know that they are going to data mine the crap out of you and sell this information. If that doesn't bother you because you're getting such a big deal on the tickets, great. Here's the catch. AMC hasn't officially signed on as yes, and they are the largest movie chain in the country. The second part is that they are guaranteeing this price for just 1 year, and then after that year, the price may change. My thing is this could be either a really great thing or a really bad thing for the movie going community, because afterwards, when this program goes away, a lot of people are going to get accustomed to $10 for a movie ticket, which doesn't exist in most of the United States. It's very expensive.
A matinee.
Right, but people are going to, after this program goes, hey, movie tickets are $10, now they're $15. They're going to start, asking the movie theaters to lower the price. They're not going to do that another slump, or this MoviePass company is going to go to the theaters and say, hey, listen, for this year, I mean, we took a dismal performance on your part, gave you so many clients. We now want an exchange. We now want some of this ticket revenue, which again hurts the theaters. So no matter what, and this is AMC's case, this could be a bad thing for your local movie theater.
I don't see why AMC doesn't just, why don't movie theaters just raise the price? People are going to pay to go see the movie. Like,
but they don't right now. That's the problem.
People are paying $14 to go see movies.
Not enough. They took a huge hit this year.
It's been really bad.
Because
the tune of a couple $2 billion.
Because Amazon Fire Stick is the reason.
I'm not talking about right.
Yeah,
but that's
absolutely.
exactly it. Because just people aren't seeing movies as much anymore. And that's why you see $10, $15 movie tickets. The price of making a movie hasn't really, exponentially increased, but they don't make any money off of the ticket sales.
Right, it's all the concessions.
They make money off of have to make money off of concessions. So you know what will happen? Popcorn will be $20 now.
So listen, this can.
I don't have any problem with that.
This can have a negative impact on moviegoers. This can have a negative impact on the movie theaters, or this could be a huge boost to the industry. So it's 50-50. This is why AMC is very split and coming out with it. There's obviously a lot that we still need to learn, but listen, right now, I would say sign up for it and give them your $10 and go see some movies for the year and get some under your belt. It's a great value.
Is it for a year from today, or is it like till the end of 2017?
I think it's till the end of 2017.
Even if it's to the end of 2017, it's still a great deal.
I know it's a great deal. Don't get jumped down my throats. I'm just trying to.
I agree.
Well, don't diminish the value. My problem comes in when you diminish value. That was
diminishing value.
No, as I'm saying, this has such a high value. You can take my privacy. It has that good of a value.
And his privates. And his privates.
The hidden GoPros in your apartment has already taken your privacy.
So listen, let's move on to the next thing. Now, part of those
are lovely drapes you have, by the way.
Thank you. Part of the decline in movie theater experience and turnout this year has also been attributed to Rotten Tomatoes and online reviews of movies being very critical. Well, there's also a very popular YouTube channel, and I don't know if you guys have actually ever watched it. It's called CinemaSins.
No, not ever, okay. Because fuck them.
I like them at times. They're not.
I don't know why.
They're not funny.
They're not always funny. They're really not
funny. It's contrived, and it's just why you gotta poke fun at people for trying to be creative just in general. I don't. It's those guys. There's nothing really objective in there.
Correct.
And
And some of it's just flat out wrong.
That's the other thing, too.
Listen, and I'll acknowledge much of what I say is totally subjective, but I think I try to put at least an objective spin on things. These are guys that have no interest in objectivity, have no interest in what everybody cares about. It's just what they care about, and I don't care about what they care about.
Yeah, and if it was making fun of like those things that we all know is like, we can objectively look at it like, oh yeah, well that's kind of ridiculous, but I still love it anyway, right?
Right.
It would be different, but they purposely just point out things that just don't make sense within the continuity of the movie or within the movie industry or anything, and just like kind of make it a big deal. Like I've seen a couple episodes, I haven't been impressed at all. You know what's better? In the same vein, Honest Trailer.
Honest Trailers
is absolutely the flip side of this coin, where it's like, hey, here's this thing that you love. They did this Honest Trailer on the Flash, which is a show that I freaking love. It's one of my favorite shows.
The recycled berry running part,
right? They pointed out things that I'm like, yeah, I saw that. I still love the show, and they still love the show too. But it's just like funny,
yeah.
And it's objective, and it's something we can all agree on. And then we have a laugh and we move on. That's not what CinemaSins does.
And here's the thing: when I I just recently discovered it, and happened to coincide with this. The director of Con Skull Island just ripped them apart on Twitter. I found them, but I was only watching their like 3-minute, 6-minute videos, and they were very quick, and they were in the vein of we're being humorous and we're just poking fun at stuff and not tearing a movie apart. Now they're at like 17 to 18 minutes long. So I had spoken to a couple of people about this, and I was only seeing the 6-minute videos at least. And then after I watched this Con Skull Island one, I was like, all right, a lot of this was not funny, and then B, you're really just going beyond my level of nitpicky, and I'm the guy who looks for glasses that change levels. So I mean, the director of Con Skull Island is torn apart, and a lot of people are siding with him and not with CinemaSins, which seems to be the challenge them to do one of these on his earlier movie and saying, I hope it's brutal, right? And he's not the first director or first filmmaker to come at them or to call them out for being, very inaccurate. But he's the one that made a huge wave with a lot of people who basically had enough, saying, hey, listen, this, like you've hit it, you're done, you've hit your peak. Honest Trailers, go watch Honest Trailers. So I would recommend that. But I thought it was interesting because a lot of people are blaming these kind of outlets for low movie turnout, and I think that's wrong. I think that's a little incorrect.
I don't think CinemaSins is the reason for bad movie turnouts.
Right.
I think it's stuff like Pirate Bay and Cody and things like Kick-Ass Torrents and all this other stuff, because if I can get it for free and watch it in the comfort of my own home, I'm going to do it.
Right.
I'm one of these guys who I will gladly go in and I will pay my $10 and see a movie. And even if the movie is garbage, I'll be happy that I went, because at the very least, they did their job in getting me into the movie theater. The experience doesn't have the gravitas that it used to have when we were kids and when we were growing up, where you and your entire family,
that's for sure.
Right. You and your entire family would go out and we would, make it a thing, because it was either that or we watch whatever rerun was on TBS that night. In the days of streaming and downloads, and I can have any content anywhere that I want at any time, people don't feel the need to do this anymore.
And now we've arrived at why Brian is so anti cord cutter. He actually thinks it's wearing away at the fabric of our society. I'm listening and I'm going, holy shit, this commoditization of content is absolutely sort of
taking that
counterintuitive to our culture, how we grew up. Now I want to take my children to drive-ins every weekend. Now I have to take my...
But that's the thing.
Brian, you're coming with us to a drive-in movie.
Yes, I will do it. But that's the thing. Growing up, I used to go to the drive-in.
Yeah, I got to let them go.
Weekend.
Yeah, go play at the concession stand during intermission and
I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not,
Brian,
but I will go play at the concession stand.
I was I was a drive-in kid.
Hence
we
the
were
Jurassic
every
Park
weekend.
conversations.
We were every weekend at the drive-in. This is absolutely it's a part of me. So I'm not sure that a less expensive subscription to go to the movies is a bad thing. I'm saying if we get people into the theaters and get people really interacting, what kills me is Cody and the availability of and I don't subscribe because it's generally lower quality than I want to view on my gorgeous television. So
yeah.
I wait for things to be available in HD and so on and so forth. And I'm just not a subscriber to all of the pirated anything. And that you're right. That's what's killing it. But more importantly, look, if this gets everyone to the theater, I want them to subscribe to this thing and go to the theater.
So here's the flip side of this, right? So when it comes to how else we're experiencing movies, it's sometimes they're not even theatrical releases of things. So that brings us to this. YouTube Red is going, I said it. YouTube Red is going to be releasing a Karate Kid reboot coming in 2018.
Yeah, this definitely sounds like something that's on RedTube, like Daniel-san.
Karate Kid reboot.
So you ready for this?
And finds Hilary Swank's character, and they're
the
all
Valley.
Karate,
it's Karate Kid, the All Valley All Girl Tournament.
So, Brian, I actually think you're familiar with this premise, right? Because
I am familiar with this premise. I'm actually on board for this.
Okay, so would you explain what this reboot is to our listeners?
So what was Billy Zabka's character's name in Karate Kid?
John Kreese. John Kreese.
So John Kreese, yeah. So this is actually, it's not a reboot. What's really cool about this is
Billy Zabka is, I'm sorry, that's the kid, not the sensei.
Yeah, no, who is Billy Zabka? What was his character's name?
Johnny
Lawrence.
Johnny Lawrence.
All right, Johnny Lawrence. So it's actually a continuation of the Karate Kid series, which I think is pretty cool. Johnny Lawrence, apparently the concept is he's kind of down in the dumps, down on his luck. He decides he's going to restart the Cobra Kai dojo and teach other kids the Cobra Kai way. And we all know that way is for douchebags. So
that's not true because he lost at a tournament to a cheater.
Yeah. Because Daniel-san cheated. I don't care.
Don't we think he's learned his lesson and he's going to do it righteously?
No, because the concept is that Daniel-san opens up a rival dojo to teach karate his way and the Miyagi way.
The Miyagi-Do. Like Miyagi-Do dojo. The Miyagi-Do dojo.
Right. Yes. And it's going to be about this rivalry between the two dojos. I think it's nice little circle of life.
Listen, the best Jet Li movies were the rival dojo movies.
Right. And it's going to be a 10-episode TV series called Cobra Kai. So it's called the Cobra Kai. So that's who you're going to identify with. It sounds like
Billy Zabka is going to be the main character.
Yes.
And I mean, maybe Daniel-san is going to be kind of the villain.
Daniel LaRusso. Daniel-san is what Mr. Miyagi called him.
I don't care.
Ralph Macchio.
We all call him Daniel-san.
Whatever.
But my point is, this is an interesting enough concept that I might actually subscribe to RedTube. Who knows? I mean, YouTube Red. Sorry.
No. You had it right the first time. It was Cobra Kai, all girls.
I'm just saying there's a whole lot of hope in this idea. I think it's a good idea.
I got to tell you, if there's a whole lot of hope in there, then Daniel-san has a problem. He's facing.
Does he have a problem?
Maybe.
Crane kick his way through 6 episodes. I mean.
So I also like to scour the internet every single week and just find the weird and the obscure topics. And I ask these two gentlemen for their tech perspective. And Brian doesn't sing a dumb song every time I do it.
Yes, Brian does. Boop, 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 boop.
It's just wrong, ladies and gentlemen. It's just wrong.
That was a lot more like just dogs.
All right, well, Brian, I want you to get your childhood ready because there is an attraction coming to Niagara Falls that is a real-life, multi-level Mario Kart style track opening. So you are getting on go-karts. It's a huge multi-level thing, and you're racing against your friends. It is gigantic. And it's coming out to a couple different locations, but right now it's starting out in Niagara Falls.
Are you guys go-kart guys? I never envisioned either of you as go-kart guys.
I've done go-karting once. It was enjoyable.
Right, but once.
But
I've done it several times.
Okay.
Once because I couldn't throw red shells at my opponents. It severely disappointed me. They're like, hey, let's go go-karting. And nowhere in the instructional video did it teach me how to throw a banana peel behind me. And I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of over it.
This isn't for me.
It's a gigantic track. There's
no boost. I can't jump things.
Yeah, like...
I think everyone, no matter what go-kart you're on, every go-kart is a Mario Kart. Just bring a banana. It's not very hard.
You just dress up in the plumber's outfit. I mean, they do these go-kart tours in Tokyo, which they're unofficial Mario Kart tours, but, Nintendo, because Nintendo, you can't actually call them Mario Kart tours,
right.
But people dress up as Peach and Mario Luigi and do these tours through Tokyo all the time. Awesome. With traffic on the highway, literally like right the fuck there.
Right.
So I don't know how they don't die, but...
So Brian's not buying into your amusement park Mario Kart shindig.
I'm not.
See, for me, I thought this was an opportunity for us to go ahead and go to Niagara Falls. So first we have to go to New York and stop at the Pandorica. We get lunch there. Then we go ahead and we drive these Mario Kart like tracks, right? And then we come on down and we stop at the city, maybe have a good day, and then Brian falls asleep in the car. We cover him with a blanket. So it's a good day trip.
Oh, sign me up. That's not a day trip. That's minimum.
It's a good trip.
Minimum one overnight. Right. But yeah, let's do it right now. You brought it up. So I assume that Jenny's okay with it, and I'm already booking tickets. Let's go.
All right. Now, Josh, you also brought up this other topic, which I thought was interesting, is that Microsoft knew that there were issues with their service devices and their returns were high. But now Microsoft says, no, everything should be fine now. No big deal. And Consumer Reports actually pulled off their recommendation of purchasing the Surface laptops. So really curious to hear your take on this and kind of why this is a huge controversy.
There's been a giant just departure from these devices. Look, I've used the Surface. I don't hate it. My problem isn't with the device itself, it's with the OS, but apparently there are hardware problems. I haven't used one in quite some time. It's not a terrible device. However, it's an incredibly unstable OS. That's my problem.
Right.
That is not Consumer Reports' problem. They have a hardware issue.
Correct. Yeah, Consumer Reports is saying that the return rate and because of hardware is what I thought they said like it was 20% return.
I have to tell you, and this is one
25.
It's one point where I think we've reached this sort of critical mass as a society where people just genuinely don't understand how to use things. And they don't take the time to learn how to use them, and it creates a staggeringly high return rate. Here's the problem, and it's not a problem really with anything except Microsoft. Microsoft has been so obsessed about their early adoption rate, and it's because I'm gonna be the fanboy for a moment, folks. Pardon me. Apple has this incredibly high early adoption rate. New hardware, new software. It's 70+%. Everything just evolves to the next generation all the time. All the time, every year with Apple. Microsoft doesn't have that adoption rate, not only in their software, but now in their hardware. The problem is they've done all this marketing to convince everyone that they can use a Surface.
Right, exactly. The Surface is for every use case.
That it's for everyone, right?
Yeah,
and the reason they're getting such high returns is because people are rejecting their touch user interface. They're rejecting everything that is Surface. And the problem, I feel like someone at Microsoft is, I've seen the enemy, and the enemy is us. Because they've created this problem with their marketing. It's not user friendly. I can use it, CJ. You can use it. Brian could use it. But everybody can't. And 25% seems like a legitimate return ratio.
No. Listen, it's right. And this is something that a lot of people are kind of discovering on their own. A lot of people look at Consumer Reports and they look at other nerds like us and say, hey, listen, is this something I should be looking at? And I think you kind of hit the bigger issue. Listen, it's not necessarily about just faulty devices about, hey, you have to learn. Like, you got to put in effort to learn new technology. So I think it's definitely worth bringing up. All right, that brings us to our, to at least my favorite segment, where we look at the world of comic books, how it's affecting movies, how it's affecting television, but most of all, how it's affecting Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cape Talk.
Cape Talk.
So one of Adam West's last works as Batman is coming out in October.
This is his last.
It is his last one. I thought they had another one in halfway through.
No, it's. I mean, not as Batman. He has another project that hasn't been released yet, and he has some canned episodes of Family Guy. But this is his final performance as Batman.
Animated Batman versus Two-Face movie. The Two-Face will actually be played by William Shatner.
Bill Shatner, as Harvey Dent / Two-Face.
Right, so it is the first time also that the 1960s-esque Batman has ever faced Two-Face. That was kind of a weird thing for me to say.
Face Two-Face.
Coming out in October. Brian, besides this being Adam West's last work as Batman, what else about this movie is kind of unique?
I mean, DC's animation department has been extremely productive and very well received, and it's very well done. They did Return of the Caped Crusaders with Adam West, which was a very good movie, and it's just a return to the campy Batman that some of us grew up on, some of us kind of enjoy. There's two sides of Batman. There's the Dark Knight, I am the Knight Batman, and then there is the campy Adam West, always brush your teeth Batman, and all Batman fans love both of them. So I think, I think it's a huge deal that it's Adam West's final performance. When he unfortunately passed, I was unsure of whether or not he actually finished recording this because I knew they were doing it. I'm glad to see that he was able to record it, and I'm extremely excited to see this.
So it's coming out in October. We'll include a link in the show notes, so if you are interested, you can learn a little more about the project.
I'd like to bring up one more thing in Cape Talk if we're done talking about this.
Please, absolutely.
All right. So, the Justice League movie has released a new poster. Have you seen it?
No, I'm Googling it right now.
Can you Google it now for me? I need you to tell me who is on this poster. If you could list the characters.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Just look at the poster and tell me who you see.
I see Superman.
You see Superman. It's really funny because 2 weeks ago when we were talking about the trailer, you were like, "Oh, this could be Martian Manhunter."
Listen,
fuck you, CJ.
It still could be Martian Manhunter.
No.
Of course it's not. Yes, Superman's on there. He's on the poster. No mustache on this poster, though.
No question about it. Superman is back. How far into the movie he's back? I'm guessing about an hour and a half.
I heard a lot with the reshoots right now.
They're reshooting the entire third act.
That's the part right there, is that's probably where Superman shows up. Third act.
Which is going to be probably the last hour and a half. But they're reshooting extensively the entire last third of this movie.
I read a report that says that Joss Whedon is saving what others called an unwatchable movie.
No, I love it. Give it all. Give it all to me right now.
Right. We get it, but I just wanted to point out that CJ's a dumb face and Superman's in this movie.
I'm willing to take that.
I said that 2 weeks ago. We're good.
We know. Now there's just now we have confidential proof that I can't be like, well,
You know what I like is that Brian gets to punch you in the face 2 weeks after I punched you.
I take the abuse. All right, we're now moving on to... Oh, no, I was ready to move on, Bane.
Do you not see the Man of Steel on that poster?
Yeah, I do, Bane.
I was wondering what would break first, your argument or your face?
Both at the same time, Bane. Both at the same time.
Yes, CJ. You are not initiated, CJ. There's no need to stand on ceremony here. Mr. Millen.
I'm real sorry about that,
I find it very confusing why you would threaten a man before throwing him out of the airplane.
Littlefinger deserves to die. That's all I know.
Brian just recently watched the Dark Knight trilogy, if you did not realize it yet.
Well, you're more clear now than you were in that movie. So
CJ,
yes.
we have taken the argument of Superman and we have given it back to you. The people.
Don't. Hey, Bane, will you do me a favor? Will you say pizza? Gotham isn't even known for that.
I can't eat pizza. It gets all into my mouth.
Okay, let's
CJ.
move on.
There's cheese everywhere. It sounds delicious. I prefer my grapefruit, CJ.
It is now time for the nerd degree. The nerd degree is where that kind of nerd gives a topic, a product, a movie, the third degree. It's an inquisition of sorts. Helps if I can speak. Inquisition of sorts. Thank you, Bane. You've tripped me up, apparently. Josh, you gave me this topic weeks ago, and I've been meaning to get around to it, but there is now the ability to get a Doc Ock-esque robotic arm that will give you an extra hand or two whenever you need it. It's now controlled by your mind. What is this all about? Like, I don't understand this. I get a robotic arm?
Sorcery is actually
sorcery, not science. Sorcery.
It's all sorcery. You have a thing. People control it. It's very strange. I'm not sure if you control it or others can.
I would hope it's you. I don't want someone else controlling my
I'm just saying
robotic arm.
With this level of technology, I'm not sure that it's confined to just you.
It's going to be those movie studios that you sold your data to. They're going to start controlling your arms.
So let's say this, Josh. Let's just say a reasonable fee, you can go ahead and get these arms. What are the use cases that you see this being useful for?
I mean, my problem is that they're attaching extra arms to people that have arms. It's not prosthesis.
Okay, no, I see.
My thing is that it's not like this isn't to help somebody live. This is like if I want something to hold my iPhone while I do other things, which, I mean, you can buy a case that has a kickstand. I guess just do that. Like, putting extra arms on me is just going to bump people as I board a plane. That's all it's going to do.
Yeah, I mean,
what
at
about
the same
like
time,
chest hands from Scrubs? So I can clap and I can eat popcorn at the same time. How great would that be?
I just see
but that's what we're talking about, Brian. We're talking about, and watch the link in the show notes. It's like a guy who's like, you know what? I can draw a heart and I can use one of my own hands and one of my robotic hands and draw an actual heart. And it's nice. But this isn't like helpful technology. I mean, as I see it, it's just arms holding things or doing, I need help soldering something. Great. That's wonderful.
Those applications are great, but for just any other use case besides like factory work or like manual labor, this is just being.
I'd rather see it in robotic automation,
right,
not strapped to a human.
So for you, does this pass the nerd degree?
No, I mean, for me, out of Roman numerals I through V, I give it an II.
I would give it an III.
I see what you did.
I think it needs to be anything. I think it's in the middle. I think it's fine.
Brian, what do you score, Brian, on the Roman numeral system we always use?
I see applications. I don't think it's for consumers. Like, I don't think it's for Joe Schmo, you and me. So I mean, I'm gonna grade a little bit higher. I'm gonna give it an IV. Not like your standard banana bag, but just, an IV in the case of the Roman numeral scaling that we use.
All right. Well, now that we've all agreed that is the term that we normally use, I think it fails the nerd degree.
So, Brian.
Yes, Josh.
You and I like movies.
Only a lot.
We like to think we're smarter than most people.
Sometimes.
But
yes,
for me, most of the time.
For you, most of the time.
I'm not saying that I am smarter. I just like to think that I am.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So if we like movies and we think we're smarter than most people, we can assume we can do a better job than the studios. Yes?
I can definitely do a better job than most studios.
Okay.
I'm looking at you, Fox.
We're going to recast a movie. We're going to recast Green Hornet.
Yes, we are.
Now, gentlemen,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a couple rules that I can add for this week's cast this to kind of make it a little more interesting.
Ooh, okay.
So you're obviously going to reveal who you cast, right? And why, right? Each of you. And then I'm going to give you a 30-second rebuttal as to why your pick is better than the other person's.
Why you got to make me go to
So we're
debate club?
Gonna make you debate it.
We've got okay.
I'm down.
I can conform to these rules, but I will tell you that I had problems narrowing 2 characters out of 4.
Well, that's fine. We can work on this a little bit.
I did not. All right.
Okay.
So who is the first character that we
first off, let me just start by saying the reason that we're doing Green Hornet is because not just because the Seth Rogen movie was a huge pile of steaming garbage.
Awful.
But
Jinx.
on the heels of that, they have actually announced that they are going to do a new, grittier Green Hornet movie based on a script written by Sean O'Keefe, who's really just done a lot of video game scripts. But it's going to be directed by Gavin O'Connor, who it also directed The Accountant with Ben Affleck. So I'm kind of excited by this idea.
All right.
And that Seth Rogen one was terrible. So I'm ready. I think I got a good cast.
And The Accountant was gritty as hell.
The Accountant was gritty as hell. I need to put forward my disclaimer real quick. I went a little wibbly wobbly this time around. I based my cast list on the Kevin Smith script that was supposed to be what the Green Hornet movie was before Seth Rogen got a hold of it, which later got turned into a comic book made by Dynamite. So, that being said,
that is a totally acceptable perspective.
Yeah, it's not like I'm going to choose 10 years ago people who were still 30.
Oh shit, that's mean.
Shots
Actually,
fired. All right. So who is our first actor and cast? Who is our first character and actor that we are recasting?
So, well, we'll start with Britt Reed, who is AKA the Green Hornet.
Yep.
And then, obviously, in the Seth Rogen version, this was played by Seth Rogen.
It was played by Seth
Brian,
Rogen.
who is your pick to be the new Green Hornet?
My pick as Green Hornet is Gabriel Macht.
And we know
he is Harvey from Suits.
Wow, you went a lot older than I did.
He's not a ton older. Like,
bro, he's
like 30s.
No, he's fucking not. He's damn near 50.
He looks 30.
Gabriel Macht, he's 45 if he's a day.
Hang on. I will confirm this right now. And regardless, doesn't matter. He is 45. Exactly. Look at you. Doesn't matter.
I win everything.
Doesn't matter how old he actually is.
It actually does.
He can pull off a late 30s. And that's what I was looking at. Is
man,
late 30s.
I was totally on board with agreeing with everything you said based on what the Kevin Smith thing. And now, no.
All right, so Josh, who's your cast pick for Green Hornet?
Okay. I have a problem because I matched 2 because height, right? Kato versus the Green Hornet. There's a height thing there. There's a stature thing there.
Okay.
My cast for Britt Reed is either Taron Egerton, who we know from The Kingsman,
right,
or Liam Hemsworth, that we know from a bunch of stuff, including The Hunger Games.
I can get more on board with Liam Hemsworth than I can with Taron Egerton.
And I get that because he's a much bigger dude.
I'm not even thinking about height. Like
I'm just thinking overall act for what you're looking for.
I think Taron Egerton is a good actor, but he looks too childlike.
He's a billionaire playboy. I see what you're doing, but yes, I get it. Okay. I get both. Liam Hemsworth was my first pick. But I floundered with Kato, and I picked a shorter dude than I wanted, and I had to pivot.
All right, so Josh, let me hear your 30-second rebuttal as to why your pick is better than Brian's.
Well, my character is considerably younger. Liam Hemsworth is considerably younger than Gabriel Macht. Also, I think capable of pulling off that millionaire, billionaire, playboy sort of never achieved what he was supposed to kind of thing, where Gabriel Macht is a much more clean-cut guy.
All right, that's time. So, Brian, your response.
Britt Reed is supposed to be a clean-cut guy, and he's not necessarily supposed to be a young playboy. He is supposed to be in like his 30s, running a newspaper. Yeah, he's a millionaire and all this other stuff, but I know Gabriel Macht is 45, whatever. He can play mid to late 30s. He looks that part, and I don't care what you say with the
You just made my point. You made my point for me. Thank you for your cross-examination.
What point did I make?
That Gabriel Macht is fucking 45 years old.
It's in print.
Brian,
he can still play it.
I'm looking.
We had Toby. Hold on. No,
your 30 seconds is over, sir.
We had Tobey Maguire, who was 31, playing a high school
Spider-Man
student.
here.
And we all had issues with that. Like,
No, we
everyone
didn't.
brought up the fact. Everyone
In
brought up the fact that he
2002,
was a
no
high
one had
schooler.
issues with it. No one had issues with it.
No, I'm sorry, sir.
I
I'm going to
defy you.
I'm going to award
I
this
had
round
issues.
to Josh Burns.
Bullshit.
Sorry. I'm looking at a picture of him. He is way too old. I'm sorry.
Wait.
No.
Here's me
Bullshit.
doing my best Kermit sit.
All right, Josh. We just talked about Kato. I assume he's next on your list. Who is going to be playing Kato?
Kato, because we went with Liam Hemsworth, I had to go with a taller Kato than I originally wanted, and that made me pick Finn Jones.
Ooh.
Nope.
Terrible fucking
It's
pick.
not. He's actually an amazing martial artist, which is what Kato was. He was a man of few words. And as a matter of fact, Kato was always very cliche in his approach.
All right.
So I went with Finn Jones because we know he can do cliche. He's an amazing martial artist. He's in the right age range and the right height.
All right, Brian, let me hear your cast for Kato.
Okay, first off, your age range is completely off for these characters.
Hey, save your rebuttal, sir. Just tell me who you picked.
I picked as Kato. So the reason I got to preface this because this is why I did this disclaimer.
Sure.
In the Kevin Smith script, Kato is actually a female.
Okay.
And who is actually like related to the original Kato.
Sure.
So because of that, I picked Jessica Henwick.
And we know her from.
I retract my argument and I award Brian this round.
But she is Claire.
Nope.
From Iron Fist.
No, she's not Claire.
I'm sorry, not Claire.
She's Colleen.
Colleen.
And I retract my argument, and Brian wins this round.
I will agree with that. And
No. And here's why. Because my original instinct was to cast a female and pick Jessica Henwick. I swear to God. And I went, she's not only a female, she's too young in this role. So I'll go traditional. Brian obviously was more ballsy than I, and he wins this entire round.
All right.
Woo!
With
Brian,
no argument.
Brian, who is the next character that we are recasting?
So the next character is Britt Reed's kind of love interest / femme, fatale, I guess you could categorize her as.
A bit, yeah, sure.
Lenore Case.
Which was originally played by Cameron Diaz in the Seth Rogen version.
Correct.
So, Brian, who did you pick?
So, as we all can tell, I've picked an older cast because I feel like this should be an older, more rugged Dark Knight Returns type Green Hornet. I picked Jessica Alba.
Okay.
Oh, I hate that so much.
Of course you do, 'cause you hate Jessica Alba.
So Josh, let me hear who you picked.
I picked Deborah Ann Wall, who is Karen Page in Daredevil. And also from True Blood, which is actually my inspiration for this pick.
Okay. So, Brian, I'd like to hear your rebuttal as to why Josh's pick is not correct. 30 seconds.
No,
He likes it.
I like it.
Yeah?
He likes it.
Me too.
I like it a lot. I got to give this to Josh. As Josh was so kind enough to give me the Kato pick, and we'll still argue over our Green Hornet pick, but I will give you your pick, Deborah Ann Wall.
All right. Josh, who is the next character that we are going ahead and recasting?
Brian's thought on this character was interesting. He said, just forget about Chudnovsky for a second and just pick a good villain.
Now, the villain that was in the Seth Rogen one was Christoph Waltz, and I mean that is a guy who knows how to play villains.
He really does.
So that's actually big bar for you guys to recast.
That was my favorite part of the movie. Brian, was that? Am I on point there?
I mean, I liked it, but I didn't. I mean, but it's not Christoph Waltz's problem. It's the tone of the movie problem. He was too comedic.
Right. But as the playing of the character, he was my favorite.
He was great.
All right,
Okay,
so
maybe it's because he's the best actor.
I'm going to start with Brian this round. I want to hear who your pick is for a villain.
Mean.
So again, going off of this Kevin Smith script that I've read, in this story there is the like alter ego Hornet almost. I think he's called the Black Hornet. But honestly, that doesn't matter what character he is, because I think Idris Elba would be great as a Green Hornet villain in a darker, grittier movie like this.
Hard man to pin against another person. So, Josh, who do you have
Proceed,
going against
Josh. Who's your choice?
My villain is Kevin Spacey.
Oh, okay. So these are.
I don't even care what character he plays. My villain is Kevin Spacey.
So hold on, Kevin Spacey plays
Kevin Spacey the villain.
Kevin Spacey plays a lot of different types of villains. If you could narrow down, give me an approximation as to what Kevin Spacey would be playing, I can factor that into our casting decision.
I have a Kevin Smith in Swimming with Sharks type of, he's deceptive and he's.
I'm just thinking like Baby Driver versus.
No. I'm not naming another character.
But
I'm not doing that.
He's thinking more like
as a villain.
Empire.
Okay, I get you.
Right?
Kevin Spacey is a boss. He is the boss of bosses.
Okay, so why is Kevin Spacey better than Idris Elba? 30 seconds.
Frank Underwood. I'm done talking.
All right.
Listen.
Gentlemen, yields his time, and we move it over to Mr. Thornton.
Oh, yeah, I yield the other 29 seconds to the
great,
delegate
so I get
Horsham.
almost a full minute. I think Kevin Spacey's a great choice if you want to go with the kind of crime syndicate boss thing. I think that's a fantastic choice. I picked a guy who could get down the muck and go toe-to-toe with Green Hornet, and that's Idris Elba to a T. I think of his character in The Losers and how, like, he can do the fisticuffs, but he can also be deceptive, and he can also, kind of run different plays around him. I think what we should do is combine both of them and have Idris Elba work for Kevin Spacey. There's your movie.
So here's my question to you, Josh, and I want you to think about this, and then I'll award a victor. Kevin Spacey, I really can't think of a time where he gets, recently I should say, very physical, and as a comic book villain, if he's the only villain, there needs to be punching. There needs to be a fight scene. How does Kevin Spacey do that?
He doesn't have to. If you consider the movie The Green Hornet and really the comic strip and the radio show that started, it was always against sort of an overboss, and there were always people under him. I'm fine with Idris Elba being a henchman,
right, but also think about the TV show too,
type guy, right? No, what's funny is I've never factored in a TV show because I've never seen it. It's not like even a thing. No, I know. It's just I don't. So I don't think most people think it's a thing. I consider this the Green Hornet taking on a big overboss, taking on the big bad, and I see Kevin Spacey as that. I don't object to Idris Elba as mid-management. I just don't see him as the big bad.
See, this is tough because there obviously is no character that we're casting against, and obviously I think the idea of having Idris Elba work for Kevin Spacey is the right one. So I think we're going to have to call this one a stalemate.
What? No.
No, because listen, Kevin Spacey, while a great mind, a smart.
Josh, you still won though.
You still won.
CJ awarded the point for Green Hornet to you.
I did. You won this round, Josh, but bullshit. This one was a stalemate because you guys came in with such a different approach to it.
So I took. Well, essentially, my record in this one is 2-1-1.
Right.
I won 2, lost 1, tied 1. I'm not happy about that last thing. Is the problem?
No, but Josh,
how my brain works.
You have more points.
It doesn't matter who my opponent is. As much as I love Brian, if I want to crush him, not just very narrowly beat him. This isn't a victory as far as I'm concerned. If I conceded one thing, I didn't win. This is ridiculous.
Right, well,
and I hate you a little bit.
Listen, we obviously want to hear from you, the fans. If you have an idea for Cast This, please go ahead and tweet it at us at That Kind of Nerd, or find us on Facebook. I want to thank you so much for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work. Please go ahead and subscribe to the Bingeaholics if you aren't already, so you can go ahead and catch our coverage of Marvel's The Defenders coming out this Wednesday. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you all next week.
If you love comics and sci-fi and technology, television, video games, and fantasy, well, take a listen to our show. I'm sure you'll see there's many points where we can agree. Like that Martha as a plot point was just too absurd, and Apple versus Android is a case to be heard, and that Josh Trank's new Fantastic Four was a turd. Well, welcome to the club, 'cause you are that kind of nerd.
All right, this week's topic, this is actually brought...
No. Bane's words are grapefruit mask, bats mobile. Those are his words.
That's Bane's passwords. His
It's
Bane's
Bane's mobile with the podcast, Joshua. CJ has made very clear that he wants to move on.
I couldn't help but guess
He
your
decided to
password.
cut me
Did
off.
I guess your password?
Yes, Joshua. But you forgot the last two words of Breaking Bats.
I said bats. Bats were in there.
There was no breaking of the bats. Those bats are whole, Joshua.
I have been waiting to clear out this topic for like 3 weeks. So can we go
That's
on?
so good.
I just
I had to have more Bane. I couldn't stop.